Dear students, we'll start the module number 3, Energy Systems. This module has three important subchapters. The first one is chemical fuel, second one is fuel cells, and third one is solar energy. Let us begin with chapter number 1, that is chemical fuels. Let us discuss about the introduction part of chemical fuels. As you know that energy is the primary and most universal measure of all kinds of work that has been done by human being and also to perform the work in the nature. Everything what happens in the world is expressed in the form of flow of energy in one of its forms. Most of people use the word energy for input to their bodies in the form of food to perform their activities. To perform the machines, we should think about the use of the fuels and electric power, etc. So, energy is an important input in all sectors of any country's economy. The standard of living of a given country can be directly related to per capita consumption. And energy crises are increasing day by day because of two important reasons. Firstly, the population of the world has increased rapidly, and secondly, the standard of living of human beings is also increased. If the present trend is continuous in the world, around the year of 2050, there will be the huge crowd of population and the energy consumption would be increased exponentially as population increases. The discussion on energy has got much importance as the conventional sources, mainly fossil fuels, are depleting day by day and their quantity remains now very trace. In this chapter, we are going to discuss mainly about the fossil fuels, its classification and its characteristics and other important aspects. Let us begin first with the definition of chemical fuel. A chemical fuel is a combustible substance containing carbon and hydrogens are the two important chemical constituents which on combusting in air or oxygen liberates significant amount of heat energy that can be used economically for both industrial as well as domestic applications. So let us have the generalized chemical process. When chemical fuel gets combustion in the presence of air or oxygen, there is a release of combustion products like carbon dioxide and water, carbon monoxide, etc. At the same time, there is the liberation of heat. If carbon is the main component, there is a release of carbon dioxide. If hydrogen is one more element, there is a formation of water and liberation of heat. Let us have some common examples for the chemical fuel are wood, coal, charcoal, kerosene, petrol, diesel, crude oil, coal gas, water gas, etc. Let us begin now the classification of chemical fuels. Chemical fuels are broadly classified on the basis of two aspects. The first one is occurrence, second one is physical state. Let us discuss now on the basis. Chemical fuels are broadly classified into two types. First, Their primary fuels are also called as natural fuels. Secondary fuels are also called as derived fuels. Once again, primary fuels are sub-classified into three sub classification: solid, liquid, and gas state. Similarly, second fuels also derived into three sub states: solid, liquid, and gas state. Let us have some specific examples for the solid state under primary fuels: wood, peat, lignite, coal, etc. Liquid fuel, crude oil. Gaseous fuel, we can take natural gas. Then under secondary fuels, solid, coke and charcoal. Liquid, kerosene, petrol and diesel. Gaseous fuel, coal gas, water gas, oil gas, etc. Let us discuss the same flow chart is expressed in the tabular column. Either you can represent the flow chart or tabular column, what is depicted in the slide. Let us discuss what is meant by first primary fuels or natural fuels. These are the fuels which are found in the nature. They can be used directly without processing or being processed at certain extent without altering its chemical composition are termed as primary fuels, are also called as natural fuels. Let us have some examples: wood, peat, lignite, coal, petrol, natural gas, etc. Then secondary fuels, what it defines: these are the fuels are derived from the primary fuels by subjecting them proper treatment by altering its chemical composition. For example, you can take coke, charcoal, kerosene, producer gas, water gas, etc. So this is what about one important part of this chapter. Now let us begin. Next concept of the same chapter is characteristics of a good fuel. If you want to say the following fuel is good one, it must possess the following good characteristic properties by selecting to use them in industry or domestic applications. The first point, the fuel must have high calorific value. We'll discuss about the definition of calorific value later of this concept. Because calorific value determines the efficiency of the fuel. Second characteristic property is what? It should have proper ignition temperature. What it means? Ignition temperature means it is the temperature at which combustion process starts. The ignition temperature of the fuel should neither be too low nor be too high. It should be moderate. Third characteristic property is what? The combustion products, after the combustion process, the combustion products during the combustion should not cause any pollution. It means the harmful gases like carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide, oxides of sulfur, hydrogen sulfide, etc. should not be produced during the combustion process. And also it should produce less amount of smoke during the combustion. Point number 4. It should have moderate rate of combustion. When we start the combustion process, it should not burn too much early or should not take much more time for the combustion. Therefore, if the fuel is said to be good one, it should have the moderate rate of combustion. Fifth point, combustion should be easily controllable. That is, combustion of fuel should be easily controllable, means it should be know the techniques. It may be solid or gaseous or liquid state. We must know start and stop of the combustion process whenever it is required. Sixth point, it should not leave any much more ash after the combustion. If the ash is more, ash means unburned compound after the combustion process. If the ash is more, it will reduce the calorific value of the fuel. Seventh point, it should be available in plenty or more quantity. Eighth point, it should have low moisture content. If the moisture content is more, it will reduce the calorific value. Ninth point, size in case of solid fuels, it should have the uniform size during the combustion. 10th point, it should be low cost and must be available easily. Last point, in case of solid, liquid and gaseous state, we should know that it should be easy to handle, store and transport.